Thank you, Professor Schaller. He's far too kind, especially in his first year with the grief that I put him through in his class. But it's really due to the professors at Colorado Christian University that I've seen some tremendous students, especially after being the first political science student. I come back home to my alma mater and I'm blown away by the quality students that they have at the university right now. And I know it's because of professors like Greg Schaller, Professor Dr. Leland, and a host of others as well. Following that, a couple days ago, I had the privilege of speaking to the Armstrong Fellows. They're impressive students too, and I think they're appropriately named because it was at Colorado Christian University that I received an excellent education, which made me realize my calling to the public sphere. And this is credited directly to the vision and the leadership of President Bill Armstrong, both for the university and for his investment in my life and each of those fellows over there. His legacy and statesman-like example continues to expand to the next generations of students, all through education. I'm thankful to count myself among you, Armstrong Fellows. But right now, I want to share with you a story about a girl named Tiffany. Tiffany grew up in Anacostia neighborhood of Southeast Washington, D.C. Anacostia is notoriously impoverished with a high crime rate. She lived there with her disabled mother and grandmother, but her biggest role model was her cousin, who was tragically shot and killed when she was just in the 6th grade. Tiffany admired her cousin as a basketball player and as a student. She wanted to step in his shoes and fulfill his dream of going to college, but she knew she needed to get out of her environment to do this. At age 14, Tiffany began looking for private school options on her own, but could not afford college tuition out of pocket. That's when she discovered the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program. With the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program, Tiffany was able to go to a private school with the funds that would have been spent on her in the public school. Tiffany applied for the scholarship, was awarded it, and began attending Archbishop Carroll High School. There, she graduated valedictorian of her class, received a scholarship to Syracuse University, completed her bachelor's degree there, and is now on a PhD track in biochemistry. She has 1 year left. The history of the United States tells us that education is the key to opportunity. When Thomas Jefferson inscribed man's natural right to pursue happiness into the Declaration of Independence, he wasn't advocating for entitlements or equal outcomes. Rather, that every man and woman should be free to create the life that they want for themselves. And we've seen these founding principles bear fruit. America has many stories of men and women who were born to the poorest segment of society and climbed to the wealthiest due to their education. Men and women just like Tiffany. Our education system should enable all students in the United States to access this opportunity. But for the majority of students, it doesn't. For the past half century, American education has grown more centralized, limiting opportunity for our nation's students. When President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Elementary and Secondary Education Act into law in 1965 as part of his War on Poverty initiatives, he codified the first major federal intervention into our education system. This set into motion a host of other reforms that further monopolized our system. Since 1970, the federal government has spent over $2 trillion on K-12 education alone, which is only a 10% share of overall education funding. And states have hired 138% more non-teaching administrative staff just to handle the federal regulations that were attached to those laws. But despite this tremendous funding and staffing bloat, academic achievement for our nation's students has remained virtually stagnant. According to the U.S. Department of Education's National Center for Educational Statistics, NAEP scores, National Assessment for Educational Progress, or our nation's report card, lots of acronyms in the Department of Ed, only 26% of our high school seniors are proficient in math, and 38% are proficient in reading. That's a failure. American education has hit a crossroads. One direction continues the status quo of increased centralization and monopolization of our education system with zero outcome measures to show for it. The other direction reverses course by placing accountability for a child's education back in the hands of the parents. The second path is school choice. Conceived by Nobel Prize-winning economist Milton Friedman in his 1955 essay, Free to Choose, School choice separates the financing of education from its delivery by empowering parents with the dollars that would have been spent on the child had they gone to public school to be directed toward private school choice. School choice, therefore, pushes back the narrative of increased government centralization of our education system and opens a door to a marketplace of learning options. And data show that school choice increases academic achievement levels and attainment levels for our nation's students. It also increases those levels for students remaining in the public school due to competitive market pressures placed upon the system. Public schools now have to compete for students, you see, and parents are voting with their feet. School choice takes 4 forms: vouchers, tax credit scholarships, personal use tax credits, and education savings accounts. Vouchers are actually what Tiffany was able to use the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program. They allow parents to direct a portion of the funds that would have been spent on the child's public school to be directed towards a private school of choice. Tax credit scholarships allow individuals and corporations to direct money towards a scholarship granting organization, which then hands out scholarships for students to attend a private school of choice. Personal use tax credit scholarships allow parents to pay out of pocket and then being reimbursed for those expenses through tax deductions. But education savings accounts are the real innovation in school choice right now. They are something like a voucher, but they allow parents to receive a deposit of the funds that would have been spent on their child in the state into a government-authorized restricted use savings account to be directed towards a host of multiple learning options, including private school tuition, online learning, curricula, textbooks, AP courses, etc. Parents can even roll over unused funds from year to year and into a college savings account, enabling lifelong learning. I've had the pleasure of meeting a young man named Max Ashton in Arizona, who was able to access the first education savings account program that was established by the state in 2011. Max is legally blind, but with his ESA was able to pay for tuition at Griffey College Preparatory Academy, buy Braille textbooks, a talking computer, and save over $6,000 for his college tuition at Loyola Marymount University, where he's now attending. That's the innovation of education savings accounts, and more states are noticing. In 2015, Nevada broke new ground in education reform when they established the first near-universal education savings account program. By August of this year, nearly every student in the state of Nevada, any student who's been publicly school educated for at least 100 days, has access to an education savings account. It's truly innovative. This innovation bursts new opportunities for civil society to respond to the demand of parents looking for quality options. In his famous work, Capitalism and Freedom, Milton Friedman wrote, "Not all education is schooling, and not all schooling is education. The proper subject of concern is education." What education savings accounts allow us to do is take us from school choice to educational choice, because now parents are able to fully customize a child's educational experience, tailoring it to their individual needs, which is the conviction of school choice. As of 2016, there are now 61 private school choice programs operating in 30 states and the District of Columbia. That's nearly double the amount that there was in 2010. Nearly 400,000 students are now accessing private school choice measures through the different vouchers, tax credits, ESAs, etc. Each year, more states consider proposals to expand education opportunity to students in their states through school choice. Not just for some students, but for all students. This is the precedent Nevada set, is that every student should have access to these accounts. This is tremendous growth for school choice nationally. And with these expansions, more students like Tiffany are able to realize the American dream, set forth to us by our American founders, and climb the ladder of opportunity to a quality education.